Authentic singers, mom and pop accordion and singers outside the Royal Palace here in Madrid. Let me let them sing a few seconds longer. So welcome tonight, Travel Talk Tuesday. We are on the 7th of February, 2023. And I thank you guys for tuning in tonight or later on in the week. I really appreciate you keeping up with what's going on at David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about the capital city of Spain, and that would be Madrid. Now, I've been going to Madrid since the early 2000s, maybe a tad bit before, but I was looking at my photos and I only have digital photos from about 2007 and forward. So some of these that we're going to be looking at tonight are there. I went back through my archives of normal photos, like, real photos. And I see some that when Charlotte and I were there earlier on, but I don't think we've been there before the turn of the 2000s, 21st century. Anyway, without further ado, let me get into talking to you a little bit about what Madrid has in store for you. And we've got about maybe 20 minutes of contents, which means maybe 30 minutes of me whiling away with my chat as well. But I thank you for guys tuning in, and let's move on and see what we can talk about for Madrid. So this is a typical map of my, I would say my best of Spain tour, where we begin a few days in Barcelona and then we end up in Madrid for a couple of days. The last time I did this tour was in late August, which is kind of uncharacteristic for me to do because that's right at the heat and the heart of the summer. But it was a great experience here, and we found out that Madrid was totally under construction during that time. So let me roll this tape and we'll talk a little bit about it. You can see this trip, the best of Spain, begins at Barcelona, Madrid, these small little towns of Segovia and Toledo, and then we move south. So this is the main city square, Puerta del Sol, and that's where everything comes together. All roads in Spain go there, all the metros in Madrid go there. And then on down the street a little bit further is Plaza Mayor, which is the main city square of any city in Spain. Just showing you some little cafes and everything that are available on your walk. And this is the Grand Palace Royal, the Palacio Royal. I think it is the best royal palace to visit in all of Europe. It tops for me more so than the Versailles and the palaces in Vienna and also in Munich as well. This is a piazza near that, and it's called the Oriental Piazza, and it is also very important as well with a couple of statues of kings. This is another square more toward the big park called the Retiro Park, and golly, I look pretty young there. That was many years ago, it looked like. And there's a great subway and metro system throughout Madrid that whisks you from one side to the other. This is a famous sign of Tío Pepe, which I'll talk to you a little bit later in the broadcast. Here I am at one of the famous little caves, and this is a flamenco dancer right there, her feet and stuff. And then again, back in Plaza Mayor. Ooh, man, I put this together very quickly, but this is King Philip III in Plaza Mayor, and I'll tell you a little bit about him as we proceed through this day. I happened to be here one morning, a Sunday morning, when Barcelona was playing the Netherlands in football and soccer. And boy, that piazza was, or that square was covered with the orange jerseys from the people in the Netherlands. Again, Tío Pepe, that's a sherry that is produced further south in Andalusia, but is advertised and marketed in right there in the main square, Plaza Puerta del Sol in Madrid. Here we go again. That looked like the same photo again from that same square. So just to be certain, this is a traditional dance from Andalusia, which is in the south of Spain. It's that means in the region of Sevilla, Granada, but mostly Sevilla, and further points south. It's originates from this culture that's a blend of the Spanish and the Moorish culture, and typically on my tours of Spain, we go see that in Sevilla, and experience that type of song and dance in Sevilla. Madrid being the big capital tourist city, there are also spots there that have traditional Andalusian flamenco dancers there as well. And I happened way early in this century, in the early 2000s, we were able to go into those places and record while we're sitting there as a tourist and having dinner. Then along about 2005, 6 or 7, they said, no more photos, no more photos. So these are vintage photos that I took. Now they're probably very grainy or whatnot, but at least you get the actual authentic music that's coming from the musicians and the dance from the dancers. So it's also a lot about singing as well. So there's a stage after the performance. So we also had dinner there with some paella. Here's some photo shots of them during their performance, and very, very intense in what they do. Now, I don't know if you caught on with the video or not, but they were clapping their hands in some way that surely they've got to have carpal tunnel or something after it's all said and done, because the way in which they clap and the way in which they keep tempo with the music is just phenomenal. And the clapping sound is very, very loud. So the whole experience, the guitar players, the singers, the dancers, the clapping, the entire thing, and then the exuberance exuding to the audience is just amazing experience. Whether you see it and experience in Madrid or further south in Sevilla, it's pretty much the same. And when you go to Spain, you need to experience that flamenco dancing and music and singing. This is the paella. It's all seafood, so shrimp, clams, mussels, all that stuff. All right, so we've made it down to the Mercato San Miguel, a great glass enclosed market with all kind of little kiosks that have many different kinds of tapas. So right now we have some fried asparagus, a little bruschetta with shrimp on it, some quiche. What do we have here? Potato balls. What is Mr. Brown?
An assortment of seafood tapas.
An assortment of. I'll stop there. So this is an amazing old market very similar to other destinations in Spain and in Italy that we've been to, that back in the day, 100 years ago, were the markets where locals would go to and buy their fresh fish and seafood and meat and vegetables and everything else. It's been retrofitted. This particular market's in the Art Nouveau style from the late 1800s, and it's been retrofitted with brand new kiosk and air conditioning and everything else. And vendors are in there selling what we know in Spain is little tapas, finger foods.
Seafood tapas, and Jim here has, and so anyway, let's see what this stuff tastes like. Here's asparagus. Now I'm a pretty good cook of asparagus, but they said they fried this. Yeah.
My friend Jason Duckett there.
Got a lot of oil and salt.
He leads
on it,
tours
really
for us
and then we got
as
this
well.
other thing, this bruschetta
I'm taking one of these.
with shrimp, and it's got some like a oil pesto, thick oil pesto and cream sauce. Boy,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Salute from Mercato San Miguel. So I'll be getting a sampling of the two Belota hams, one Reserva, which goes for $18.50 per kilo, per gram, 100 grams, and of the
I'll stop right there. You know, in Italy, we call that ham prosciutto. In Spain, it's all Amon Iberico. And there's some of those little pigs that are fed on acorns dropping from the oak trees that produce much better meat after being butchered and cured than the other part. So I think I referred to the cheaper part as being for 100 grams being around 18 euro or no. So, and the upper part was 24 or no or more. But this great alternative to the prosciutto that we know in Italy, and this is just it seems to be much more rich and tasty. So give that a shot if you ever end up in Spain. Now, this was filmed just last August, and I'm walking around to almost every kiosk there. So we have all kind of olives, mushrooms, and everything cured in oil. This is the inside the square. Number one is air conditioning. So the market is air conditioned. Got these little misters up there. This is, I think, the sweets counter. And here we're coming up to, look here, all of the champagne and oysters. So you have oysters from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different areas in Europe that have been freshly imported and served with champagne of your choice. Rollatini. See the mist coming down, cooling everything off. And when it's 95 degrees outside, this is a welcome change. All kind of little sandwiches. For all of those people who love fruit cups and what do you call those, smoothies? They'll smooth it down for you in a blender. Again, maybe the bruschetta, panini, that kind of sandwiches there. And again, one of my favorite places, the seafood counter.
Hey, David McGuffin here. We are in Madrid this afternoon. This morning we left way the northwest part of Spain, down in Barcelona, and took a very fast train going 180 miles per hour up here in about a little less than 3 hours.
and we arrived in Madrid. It's about 10 degrees warmer, so mid-90s now. A little dry heat, but it's kind of humid as well. And we've just finished up touring in the Palacio Real, the Royal Palace here in Madrid. And so after 2 hours with our guide, we decided we'd walk over here to this market called the San Miguel Market. Now, the San Miguel Market is in the Art Nouveau style, or I guess it's called the Modernismo style here in Spain. This thing was built in 1918, and it was an actual market that people went to and bought their provisions. They bought fish, vegetables, everything that come here every day to shop for those who live here in Madrid. Well, it fell into disuse, and back in the beginning of the 21st century, some rich people bought it, cleaned it up, and invited these special vendors in here who are artisans and specialists with this kind of cuisine. So I have some a plate full of olives and a little spear of calamari, olives, and onions here. This little spear, when it's done like that, resembles the spear they use in a bullfight, from what I've told. And it's called, I might have to plug this in, padillo, I think. I'll plug that in
That's
if I
not
can't get it right. Padillo, and it's speared this. So in a bullfight, there's some things they stick in the bull in the back of the bull during the course of a fight. But anyway, let me give a shot with this olives. It's got a bit in it, but very tasty. I have here some white sangria. Boy, that really cools you off. It's got a little lemon taste to it as well. White wine, fresh, and the best thing is it's got ice in it. So we're having a good time here in the Mercato San Miguel, just right here in the very heart of Madrid. Thanks for tuning in. Your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe.
This is near the main square, the gate, the old city gate, Puerta del Sol.
Good morning, David McGuffin here. Sunday morning. A quick look at Madrid and the central flea market. Kind of interesting. Kind of a cold, rainy night. Finally around noon, people are getting out. Let's take a look here at Madrid in 60 seconds.
So let me stop here. This is what's called El Rastro Market. And if you read any guidebooks, it says this market attracts 100,000 people from Madrid every Sunday morning up until 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a place where you're guaranteed to be pickpocketed. Well, I kind of heeded that advice for the first part of my life, but going here is not anywhere near that. It's an experience just like attending any other market, whether it be in Italy or France or anything else. You have local vendors showing up with all of their wares, whether it be pots and pans, underwears, pants, boots, fish, fresh seafood, fresh meat, fresh cheese. And it goes down, stretches for like a mile down this one street, going downhill from the Plaza Mayor. And so as long as you arm yourself with, a money belt and all your money tucked underneath your clothes, you'll have a great time experiencing that. And I really found that going even beyond the market, the other street back, there's all kind of little cafes where all the locals show up. Even the bullfighters who were fighting in the rink the previous night are in there. One of my favorite places is like what's known as the House of Mushrooms. And we go there and, you can get all kind of champignon mushrooms that are served up, stuffed mushrooms that are great with a little tiny little glass of wine. And so don't shy away from this. Just go thinking that, you know, I'm going to not carry a backpack. I'm on all my stuff's tucked into my deep pockets and on my money belt. And I'm going to experience what the locals do here in Madrid. As typical of any market you would see in Paris. Flowers, books. And as I said, it stretches downhill for about a mile. Clothing, there's jeans for sale. Beautiful environment. This was in March, so no shade and leaves on the trees. You can see people are in jackets and everything, but a great experience. Now we're in Puerta del Sol again. This little bear is a symbol of the city of Florence, and it has been so since the 13th century. It's a bear reaching up into, I guess our term would be a strawberry tree. It's on the Madrid coat of arms, and this statue is in the Puerta del Sol. And it's been moved around every time I've been going there. It's almost in a different place. And when I was in the Puerta del Sol last August, the whole square was torn up, and everything was being rearranged, so we couldn't even see this. But this is a symbol of the city of Madrid. A bear up into the strawberry tree trying to reach the fruit. Also, in that same square is the Kilometre Zero of the country of Spain. So Madrid is right in the center, and everything is measured from the Puerta del Sol from that point on. There are, 6 major transportation arteries, we would call them interstate highways, that begin in Madrid and stretch out like a spider's leg on the way to other parts of Spain. And this is the 0 kilometer measuring point from there in the Puerta del Sol. This is original music from some gentleman I saw on the side of the street. Of course, there's always these hawkers, these fakesters, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, everybody who brings in all the parents to have their kids have a photo made with them for a price. This is, I need to stop here, King Carlos III, which is, many people think, the best king of all of Spain. And as you see, he ruled in the mid-1700s. He was very instrumental in bringing Spain out of an era where Spain, who held many countries, or what we know as countries or territories throughout the world that were lost, he brought Spain back together, unified them. He also brought the royal palace from El Escorial, which was a very austere palace about 60 miles north of Madrid, and built a whole royal palace there in Madrid, and was very instrumental in bringing Spain into the modern era. So I think Carlos III seems to be one of the most well-respected kings of Spain, even to this day. That's him. He's known for looking like George Washington with a big nose. This is the Palacio Royal, the Royal Palace. Unfortunately, I have a lot of photos from the outside, but very few from the inside because the guards are really on top of no photos. This is well, that was Cassidy and Chris. This is inside, the only place we could take some photos, the grand staircase leading up to the residence in the royal palace. You notice most everything's from outside. Look at the skies. They're mostly clear and blue. This is my friend Federico, who is my go-to guide in Madrid. And when we go, Federico is our tour guide for here and the palace. This is him there in the green shirt, talking to my friend Jim. Federico is a character. He actually, when we get there, when we get to this palace, he says, "I'm not Federico, I am Carlos III." And he becomes the character of Carlos III, brings out his scarf, and he talks about the real history of the palace. Amazing guy. I think I have some other videos in our archives with he and I chatting, and even doing, back in the days of COVID, a one-on-one talk via Zoom. Fantastic guy. I really enjoy having time with him. The Prado Museum is one of the most, I think, the best art museum in all of Europe. No photos inside. Carlos leads us around, but I'm just going to show you the 10 best or 10 best paintings in the museum. We could spend an hour and a half talking about every one of these paintings, but you look them up, they're always famous, and maybe one day we'll have a history lesson on the Prado Museum. But having Federico and our guests go in with him, it brings it all to life. This is a crazy one by Bosch. You know, it looks surreal, but it's not. It was 200 years ago. Okay, well, I hope that gives you a little impression of Madrid. There's a lot to Spain, and we have a great tour, which I call the best of Spain. There's no cutting corners in Spain, and it's almost a 2-week tour, but Madrid's right in the center, and it's very, very important to have that as the core in the history lesson to tie everything else together in Spain. So with that said, thank you guys so much for being a part of Travel Talk Tuesday tonight on the 7th of February, 2023. We hope that you'll join us next week. We're going to do some, I think it'll be Valentine's Day, maybe. We're going to do some romantic destinations again, like we've done the last year, but it'll be fun time to look around and look at those destinations that you would enjoy exploring with those you love. Okay, thank you so much. Your adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. We'll see you next week on Travel Talk Tuesday.